Hello all, this is the Owl, and today, to tide us over until the next thing is ready. Yeah, I'm stoked for that one. I thought we would do another Made in Abyss video. Made in Abyss. So good, so dark, and so, well, mysterious. And while some mysteries are resolved as we go through the two complete arcs we have access to at this point in time, others remain unanswered. So, today, I thought we would take a look at 5 of them, and a few of my own theories about their answers here and there. But I'm actually very curious as to your own theories. So feel free to post them in the comments, and I will pin the best one. And who knows, other really good ones might even make it into a future video that I have planned about crackpot, great theories about Made in Abyss. Anyways, enough rambling, let's take a look. One thing that people seem to forget about everyone's favorite mad scientist / world's greatest dad Bondrude is that he seems to be able to spy on the party somehow via Nanachi. And my guess is that he's still doing it. As Bondrude is a recurring part of the story, having interacted with folks on the lower levels as well as being a fan favorite, he is almost certainly going to show up again. That all said, it's never explained exactly how he's doing it, and it's quite a powerful ability. All Tsukushi has done, however, is to confirm that none of the relics we know about in his possession have this capability, and I have to wonder how much of what we've seen and what we are seeing is somehow caused by the machinations of this charismatic bastard of a character. My own theory is that it's probably something to do with his funky eyes, which, if I recall correctly, have been confirmed to also be relics. But who knows? It could be that this never comes up again. Oh yeah, remember this? In between Rikor's happy nightmare fun times, we occasionally cut back to Orth, where a local legend is starting to come true. Folks are falling ill on the day of their birth, and by the end of that day, well, they're dead. It also appears that this mysterious disease is connected to the Abyss in some fashion, as removing a sick individual from the proximity of the Abyss is able to somehow cure them. So what the bloody hell is going on here? Well, it might be tied to the so-called cycles of the Abyss, which, yeah, I do not understand all that well. So this is me blue skying a bit. I have to wonder whether these 2,000-year cycles mark the point where whatever is immediately above the Abyss is somehow claimed by it and becomes the new first layer, as indicated by the skeletons found on different layers, each being 2,000 years older than the one above. So, what exactly is the birthday disease? It's probably not the curse, as that has its own symptoms. So how does it work? What's causing it? I guess it's probably tied into the greater mystery of, well, and also, why is the Abyss? The abyss itself is a massive, 7-layered chasm that is essentially a world unto itself, saturated with a strange curse that comes into play if you attempt to ascend while in the abyss, inflicting horrific symptoms which get worse and worse the further down you go. Each layer is its own biome, with its own topography, fauna, and flora, all very distinct from each other, although it does seem that creatures are able to go up and down layers without any issue. On top of all this weirdness, there is some sort of temporal anomaly in play, which causes time to pass differently within the abyss, and this gets more and more significant the further down you go, to the point where it's difficult to directly compare time passing in the top layer and the lower layers, creating a sort of Rip Van Winkle effect. And lastly, many of the lower layers seem to contain signs of ancient civilizations, in particular layer 6, which of course contains the ruined Golden City and things that really do look like robots. The theories as to what the abyss is are wide and varied. For instance, some people have theorized that the abyss is a living creature, some sort of pitcher plant, or that thing from Star Trek Voyager. My own theory is actually a bit weirder, but we'll get to that in the final section. You know, I really hope all of this doesn't turn out to be ye old and ancient but super advanced civilization did a thing that caused all of this, because that would be silly and also a massive anticlimax. Come on, Tsukushi, don't let us down. The second biggest mystery to me is Riko's mother, and this looks like it's actually starting to get more fleshed out in the manga at present. Liza the Annihilator. That's quite a name. A legendary white whistle who made her way down into the low layers in search of an exceedingly powerful relic called the Unheard Bell, which apparently has the ability to manipulate time itself. Weirdly enough, she did this while pregnant, leading to her giving birth within the abyss, Riko being stillborn and then being resurrected via a specific relic. That's weird enough, but beyond this, Liza is an enigma. There's definitely some dark secret here because of course there is, this is made an abyss. Probably involving Riko, and perhaps Reg. We're getting a little bit revealed at present, mostly in regards to Liza's whistle. But that stuff's pretty new, so I'm not gonna spoil it. This all said, I have to wonder if Liza is going to turn out to be our final big bad. Remember, both Wazukyan and Faputa have been confirmed to have psychic abilities, and they have both hinted that the truly dark stuff lies ahead of the party, which is quite an assertion when your manga contains baby soup and, well, cartridges. This all said, the final mystery is probably the most intriguing and, when solved, will answer most of the remaining questions. Let's take a look. The Layer 6 arc, aka the Village arc, is probably the best stuff in Made in Abyss thus far, and oh boy, does this bit spawn more questions than it answers. The biggie to me at least, is what seems to be a logical paradox. Way back at the start of the story, Rico finds an, well, let's say android, that looks like a young boy, and she names him Reg after a dog she owned. Yeah, that's really cute and charming, as well as distinctively odd in the way Rico and, well, this entire story can be odd sometimes. However, when we meet best moth girl Fapta, she also calls him Reg, which does not make a lick of sense. Initially, I wondered if this was just a bit of a plot hole, but as the characters eventually acknowledge that this is deliberate and, well, weird, it becomes a full-fledged mystery, and probably my favorite mystery in the story. See, while it's difficult to judge time accurately in terms of the lower layers versus the surface, due to the temporal anomaly/time dilation that occurs, it should not be possible for Rico to come up with a name for Reg that may be his actual name, known by characters earlier on in the story when we look at things chronologically. It's been quite a while between Reg meeting Fapta and Reg meeting Rico. More significantly, if Rico named him Reg, how on earth did Fapta know his name was Reg? So weird. And unless we're going to do some kind of dumb Rico is a reincarnation of someone, which I will trust Takushi's not going to do because that's literally every single frigging manga. Or at least I really hope we aren't. About the only way I can square the circle is if, well, here's one of my really wacky theories. We know that the Abyss has all kinds of weird time stuff, but how about this? As you move down the Abyss, you're basically traveling into the future. The monsters of the Abyss are just hyper-evolved animals, which is why they tend to resemble actual creatures. The relics are technological items that are so advanced they seem magical, and this would also explain why there are frigging robots on the lower layers. These layers are apocalyptic and in the distant future. This would, in turn, mean that if you ascend, you're traveling back in time. Reg would thus be from the distant future, and if you think about it in a certain way, this would explain how he spent time with Fapta and being called Reg before going back in time and meeting Rico, while still allowing her to name him Reg. Yes, I know, I am almost certainly wrong here, but it's a fun theory. Do you have any of your own that beat it out? Chuck them into the comments or drop them on the Discord and we'll take a look. Aside from that, that's me for the day. Thanks for watching. I want to give a big thanks to Asterix Gaming, Rage Against My Hairline, Bourrier, Cheerful Satanist, Robert Dote, Rafferty, and Crazy, my awesome and fantastic patrons. Seriously, thanks so much, you chaps and chapettes. It's hard to explain just how much this helps me get motivated to do these. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this one. For the next video, we'll be heading up and out of the Abyss for a while, at least until the game gets patched. That said, I hope the next thing is of interest to some of you, and that this won't be a repeat performance of Corpse Party, which was about 60 hours of work and produced 3 videos that were less popular than a jar of pickled underpants. If you want to see more like this, why not stick around? There's a fair few videos now, and some really cool shit coming down the pike. Otherwise, if you want to give feedback, chit-chat, or just see what's going on, our Discord has been a blast as of late. Cheers, take care my friends, and I will see you next time. This is the Owl, signing off.